I like to think the way that I present mindfulness is based on significant distinctions, or perhaps a better way to put it, significant contrasts, empowering contrasts. Vive la différence. Between what? Well, a whole bunch of things. There's a place on this path for making discriminations. There's a place on this path for destroying discriminations. There's a place on this path for breaking down the self and the world. There's a place on this path for building up the self and the world. There's a place on this path for bearing down, and there's a place on this path for easing up. So that means that the path isn't a path. It can't be fixated. It arises in between. A whole bunch of empowering contrasts. Maturity on the path could be defined as learning how to work those contrasts, how to get rid of the notion that they are somehow contradictions, see them as complementarities, and to know how to do what at what time for optimal efficacy. And that's just practice. Practice, practice, practice. You get the hang of it. It's a matter of alternating. If the labeling makes you racy, okay, then try dropping the labels. See if you could still have clarity. If that makes you spacey, then you have to label again. There's no answer to this except to constantly remind people that there's no answer to this. In other words, you have to constantly talk out of both sides of your mouth at once and say there's a place for bearing down, there's a place for easing up. When a person needs to ease up, they don't hear that you said there's a place for easing up. They only hear. And conversely, there's just no way around it. Sasaki Roshi has this great expression, shiri ni megusuri. It means that people tend to apply eye wash to their anus. Right medicine, wrong place. In other words, if we say there's two sides, you can bear down, you can ease up, you can label, you can drop labels. You can even not note and do nothing for a while. Unfortunately, there's some perverse principle where if we say, you do one or the other, whatever one is the most convenient one for that person's impurities to grab onto, that's what they'll hear. So if they've got ego around performance, they'll hear, I gotta perform. If they've got ego around, hey, I need to cool out and just feel good and not work too hard, okay, then they'll hear that, well, I'm supposed to, not do anything. So there's no way around it. It always happens that way. No matter how many times you point out, do it this way or this way. There's something to learn from this, there's something to learn from that, until finally people figure it out. Like the metaphor used by the Buddha of tuning the lute. How do you tune a lute? Well, you tighten the string, but then it's a little too tight, so you loosen, you tighten, you loosen. And in between the tightening and loosening, you just get a feel for where the lute should be. So between these empowering contrasts, you're able to work and optimally use the various sides that are available to you.